And we said that with this 49 ratio, we're sharing a certain sum of money, which we don't know, between Tia and Azara. Now, we know how much money Tia receives. So, to figure out how much money we shared in total, we're going to start off by, first of all, considering our ratio. So, the ratio was 4:9. Right? Tia's share is $560. So I have a question now. Alright, so if Tia received $560, what fraction of the total amount of money do you think this $560 will represent? Anybody, what are your thoughts on that? What is the fraction of the total amount of money that Tia is receiving? Any thoughts on that? How are we going to get the fraction that Tia receives? Share your thoughts with me. Okay. So I heard somebody say the total, right? We have to actually start off by saying the total number of shares. Add that up and we will get 13, right? So between the two girls, every single time we share, let's just say it was like for every $4 Tia receives, Azara is getting $9, something like that. So in total, in the first share, essentially what's happening is that we're sharing $13 in total, right? So if we have to get the fraction that Tia receives, we actually have to express the portion of the ratio that is Tia's as a fraction out of the total amount shared, right? So every single time we share, so let me just write that down. Every time we share, so the total amount of money shared in that round of sharing, right? I'll just put total. So the total amount of money that we would share in that first round of sharing is 4 plus 9, which is 13. And Tia's share out of that 13 is what fraction? 4/13. There you go. So Tia's share as a fraction is 4/13, right? So although I'm not writing Tia's share as a fraction, this is what this 4/13 is about, right? Tia's share as a fraction of the entire amount will be 4/13. Now, I have Tia's share. Alright, I know how much money she got. And I know the fraction of the whole that represents Tia's share. How am I going to use this information now to actually get the total amount of money received? Anybody has an idea of what we can do? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? So we have Azara's amount. Her fraction would be 9/13. So let's talk about getting the total amount of money shared. Anybody want to tell me what are their thoughts? Because the piece that you mentioned there, Azara's fraction, will come in very handy in the second part. So keep that in mind. But the first part, how can we deal with the first part? Anybody want to tell me what they think we can do? Alright, so I heard somebody say multiply 13 by 560. Alright, yeah, listen. And what do we do there? Lovely. Look at that. Alright, so let's go through what she said. If I want to get the total amount of money shared, right? Total money shared. So I just paying total dollars. Right? Total amount of money shared. You actually have to go about it by essentially dividing the 560 by the fraction. Now, this 560 on 4, I believe it was Chaya. She was explaining the 560 on 4 is because of Tia's share being 560. She gets a portion that gives her $4 every single time we share. So what we're trying to figure out here is technically how many shares did she receive, right? How many rounds of sharing did she collect, essentially. So this 560 divided by 4 will tell you how many times you all would have passed a round of sharing. And then the multiplying by 13 is going to give us the whole, right? So that's going to give us the total amount of money. So that's why we have to do division by 4 to get for 1/13th, and then multiply by 13 to get the whole. Alright? Tell me. Right, 140, lovely. And then 140 multiplied by 13. I wonder how many people. 1,820. And I think most people got that because I heard a couple people very enthusiastically wanting to say they got the answer. So, lovely work, $1,820. And like I said, once you understand what you're doing, you're going to be able to work this out, no trouble whatsoever. Alright? So, we always have to pay attention if we are doing this type of problem. The amount that the person receives, we have to pay attention to which share it is. Is it the larger share? Is it the smaller share? Alright? And we have to pay attention to how many parts did we have in total, meaning this little piece here that I was talking about, the total amount of shares that was distributed in one round of sharing. So that's why we add it all up together. Alright, 4 plus 9 gives us a 13. That's how much shares went in one round. From there, you'd be able to get things like the fraction that represents the smaller portion versus the larger portion. These things which come in handy when you have to do your working. Alright, and once you remember, is it the smaller or the larger? If it's the smaller one, the portion of the ratio that pertains to that share, you always divide the amount by that and then multiply by the total shares, so you will get the total amount of money. Alright, so it's something that, to me, like with practice, with doing multiple types of questions just like this, you'll be able to get the hang of what you do when you have to solve these types of problems. Alright, so now that we have the total amount of money shared, let's talk about finding out the amount of money Azara received. Alright? So, yes, let's hear it. Lovely. So one very, very easy way that we can go about this, Azara's share is equal to the 1,820 subtract the amount of money Tia received, which is 560. And we'll get the answer. Alright? So this is a nice simple way of working it out. Anybody sees any other way we could get the answer? Alright, so that's actually not a bad idea. 140 by 9, because we do know how much one share is. So that's one way of looking at it. You got how much one share is. So 140 by 9 will give me the same 1,260. All right, so you have that option available. Anybody else see another way that we could work this out? Yes. Yes, lovely. Thank you, Kristen. So, there you go. You have 3 different ways you could actually work that out. And those 3 different ways can give you the same exact answer. Whether you choose to go about it with a nice simple little subtraction, you want to go the route of using your multiplication with fractions, or you want to use information that you obtained prior to that by using the 140. So, like I said, there is that power, that wonderful power. When you know what you're doing, you can do absolutely anything. So let's go. Last piece now. Find the difference. Find the difference between the amount of money both girls received. Let's hear it. How will we get the difference? Alright, so I think everybody agrees. We're going to find the difference between 1260, so 1260, and 560. And this will give us a grand difference of how much? Lovely, $700, right? So look at that. Look at that. This is what happens when we use this sort of unequal type of sharing, you know, being a little biased, deciding to give one person more than another. Look at the big difference. Look at the big difference, alright? So, you'll take this down. I'm going to get one more question, and we'll call it a day. Because, oh my goodness, is it really that late already?